This the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the War Report After Dark. I kind of like this one better than the new one for Logan Paul, so I went with the old one. But obviously, we got a lot to break down. We had a busy few days with Saturday night's main event, and a little SmackDown right before that, and then, of course, Raw. So we got a lot to dive into, a lot coming up. First, I want to start, we're getting some comments right off the bat, so I want to go through them. We got David Roscoe over at YouTube. What's up, boys? Triple H is doing a horrible job. Pause. We're going to come back to that because I got something on that. We got Donna Hey, Mama Berry.
What's up?
How are you? And then Jasim over at YouTube. Hello, how you doing? Still wondering what's up with Logan Paul? Is he joining the Vision? Also, Logan sucks. Jasim, we will get into that for sure. We're going to go in order. We're going to talk a little Saturday night's main event. And then we will definitely be talking about Logan Paul and what's happening with the Vision. I want to go back to David Roscoe because I've been hearing this a lot lately, and I want to address this first. Triple H is doing a horrible job. So my initial response to that is, okay, no problem. Let's bring back Vince fucking McMahon because he was doing such a great fucking job. WWE sucked for the last 3 years of the Vince McMahon era. It just did. Vince McMahon was out of touch. It was a blessing in disguise that things happened the way they did, not the actual actions of Vince McMahon, the alleged actions, I should say, but some of the things he has been found. Either way, he had to be removed. So Triple H filled the shoes. If you take what WWE was then to what it is now, all the people that say Triple H sucks, go fuck yourselves. He has done a phenomenal job with the direction. Are we always going to love every decision? No. This is not something we're supposed to agree with every decision. That's what makes wrestling wrestling. Vince McMahon as a heel, Mr. McMahon, was one of the greatest heels of all time because he did a lot of things that we didn't like, whether it was on-screen character or backstage. But it was what it was. That's what we signed up for, to be wrestling fans. Triple H is not doing a bad job. And then I heard people, well,
he's not doing a good job though.
He was
doing a good job up until 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and wheels started falling off.
But is he really doing a bad job? I mean, if you think about what certain things we have going on.
I think he's just thankful that Tony Khan exists, because I don't know what WWE's main event would do if they didn't get rid of guys from AEW so they could jump ship to WWE.
See, but you're saying that solely because of your disdain for Cody Rhodes.
No, but look at all the Jade, Punk, Cody, fucking Ricky Saints, Ethan Page.
They all have belts.
Mariah May have a belt soon.
I mean, and I wanted to touch on that too. How great is that? And then they take the picture backstage to just fucking throw it out there. But I don't think. I mean, listen. But
he's been riding on a high of this Cody Rhodes finished the story thing, and it was the best stuff they've done in years. I said this after
Well,
Cody
the
finished his
bloodline
story.
was right behind that.
Right. Well, the bloodline led into that. That was, you wouldn't have the finish the story thing without the
Right.
bloodline. But what I'm saying is, like, once they did that, I was like, all right, we had all this buildup. We had all this, like, we had another year of waiting between 39 and 40 for Cody to win. He finally wins. He finishes the story. And at the time, the next day, I was like, guys, they got to have a follow-up to this. And they didn't. And this is similar to when Starrcade 97, and I'm not saying it's exactly like this, but it's when Starrcade 97 happened. Brian Alvarez said he watched that pay-per-view and he knew it was over for WCW. And 2 or 3 years later, the wheels fell off. I feel the same way about WrestleMania 40. It was their peak, but at the same time, I'm watching it, I'm going, oh, this is it. This is the end. And I think the last couple years they've been riding on this high of like Cody's still selling merch and like Punk comes back. But like, I think this is we're at a tipping point here where if things could go south.
See, I don't agree. I mean, if you look at the talent that is there, that is ready,
He just gave the title to a 73-year-old man. Everybody's fucking ready. Javon Evans is ready. Braun Breaker's
I was
ready.
just about
Bronson
to say,
Reed's
Javon
ready.
Evans. Like,
What
you have
the
a
fuck? We gave it to a guy with hair plugs who looks like Silvio from The Sopranos. He can't wrestle anymore. He's 92 years old. He gets gassed. CM
Who
Punk
the fuck are
shouldn't
you
have a
talking about?
title.
CM Punk?
CM
All right.
Punk should
He's
not have a title.
72.
He is 72 years old.
Here's
with
the
fake
thing.
hair.
You want to know why you're wrong? There's only one way to explain how you're wrong. Listen to the fucking crowd.
And I get that, but as somebody who's watched this guy wrestle for 20 years, he wore that sweatshirt the other day, and he just looked like an old man in a sweatshirt. Like
he did look like an old man.
He should I think he should be he would be great. I think he should be there. I think he should be a manager and manage some new talent against Paul Heyman and the Vision, because then that'll help get somebody over. Now we're like. All the guys in the main event scene are too old right now.
There was never a situation ever where we were going to live in a world where CM Punk did officially come back to WWE and not have one final run as champion.
I know.
There's no world that you'd ever live in.
And he ate shit for a while too, because
he did. He ate a lot of shit.
We were very surprised.
Now listen, is he the same CM Punk now as he was 20 years ago? No, nobody would be. You age. You just can't do it the way you used to. I don't think the match was terrible. I mean, it wasn't great.
It was,
but at the end of the day,
oh.
the fucking crowd tells the story. People want CM Punk as champion.
And listen, I'll give you this.
I don't think it's going to be a long run either, by the way.
Oh, no. Between the two guys, Punk was the absolute right pick. If those are the two guys you put in that title match, you're not putting the title back on Jey Uso. And I will give CM Punk a little bit of credit, because even though he is starting to collect AARP benefits next year, he actually wrestled. He wrestled. He had more wins than Jey Uso. So listen, it was two guys that have bad cardio, but somehow the younger guy has worse cardio.
With Jey, Jey has done a great job at being a top guy with the crowd and everything else and the merch sales and being in the main event. But Jey Uso needs to be in a tag team. That's when he's his best, because cardio doesn't play as much as a factor. And, listen, you have him yeeting for 20 minutes before every match and coming from the very top. Like, he's winded.
I was going to ask
he gets to the ring, and then you do the repeat. So he goes back and does it again. He's holding babies. He's eating. It's exhausting. So he's winded before he gets to the fucking ring. Then he wrestles 25, 30 minutes. He's flying every which way. He stumbles. It happens. But that match with CM Punk, I don't think was terrible. I really don't. I mean, for the two,
both gassy, dude. They were
gassed. They were gassed for sure. But the match wasn't horrible. I will say this. I was wrong, because I honestly really didn't think we were going to leave with a finish. And we did. I mean, there was no Jimmy. There was no Bronson or there was nothing. And it was just a clean. And then on top of it, Jey doesn't seem to be turning, which, I still don't think you turn Jey Uso. I think that's a big mistake. But now I don't know if they're doing it or not. It's kind of like he's taking a new direction, but still a face guy. I'm telling you, they don't want to lose the merch.
All right,
That was
Al.
my
It comes
problem
down
with
to
the
the
match. There,
Yeah,
there
Al.
was-
We've been talking too much. It's your turn.
there hasn't really been like there was nothing to set up the win. I was surprised that it was a straight up fall and there was no interference from the outside from nobody,
Yeah.
like close to War Games. Because at worst case, that's what I thought. All right, we knew it wasn't going to be Jay, so we put the belt on Cena. Great, but how do we get there? And outside of just a wrestling match, and for me, honestly, a C plus wrestling match at best, if it wasn't for the crowd, honestly. Um, it. You know what? We we said CM Punk should have gotten the title in a bigger pay per view, but if
Yeah.
that's the way he was going to wrestle, this pay per view was perfect for his next title championship. Honestly, because it wasn't nothing to brag about.
It is weird though. You know, you only get this moment once. Like I said last week, with CM Punk winning the title again for the first time in 12 years, and it's like you want to pull the trigger on a Saturday night's main event. So that's kind of why I thought they weren't going to do it, and maybe the
Well, but that was my whole point last week. It just, to me, it just wasn't a big enough stage. Like you have War Games around the corner. Do it at one of the big four.
yeah.
Well, maybe they want him involved in War Games. He's probably a big part of it.
Well, and that's the thing too, because if you have him a part of War Games in one of the War Games matches, it's just a way that he doesn't have to defend the title on one of the big four pay-per-views, which, I think is kind of shitty.
Is
Yeah.
it?
I do. I do. I think it's kind of shitty. And did you notice that Punk got the main event at Saturday night's main event and Cody opened?
Correct.
Well,
I did see that. I actually said something about that.
With a title change, you'd kind of figure that because you want to put the title change at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And
But
also,
it's weird for Cody to open a show. It's very weird.
it is, but the unfortunately, the finish of that match was not in question. At least there was a little bit of a question between who's going to win between Jey Uso and CM Punk.
Correct.
Drew McIntyre had a 0.0 chance of winning that fucking match.
You know
even
what
with the
though?
stipulation.
But you know what though? As you watch that match, they did a great job making you sit there and be like, "Oh shit, McIntyre's going to do it." Like there were a lot of good moments. I mean, if you compare the two world title matches, by far, Cody Drew.
Way better match.
Well,
that
yeah.
match
But there-
was
but there
fantastic
is-
from start to finish.
But there is no way for a second that I thought he had a shot. Don't get me wrong. The
There
close
were
calls
moments
were
in that
greatly
match that you didn't
executed.
question it, that you didn't sit up and were like, "Oh shit, maybe they are
No,
going to."
not at all.
There
No,
were a few spots where I did.
Cody
think
to
that was gonna
lose his belt on Saturday night main event.
Well,
Absolutely not.
the other part of me is that I'm just at a point where I feel bad for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that's all.
Because
Well, that's
like you just keep putting him in this position where he's not going to win, and it's like, how many times can he lose his title shot, and how many times can he cry and complain that it, because
Right.
of this, that, and the other, and he's going to do it again now because Cody used the belt, that he brought in twice, mind you.
but
So,
also, yeah, it's
but a great
frustrating.
match.
The thing is, they had an out for Cody. They specifically, I mean, this was a thing they used to do back in the day all the time. They'd be like, okay, the championship can change hands on a disqualification, and then the heel would trick the babyface into getting disqualified, and then he'd win the title. And then eventually the babyface would get the title back because that's what
Right.
babyfaces do. But like, this was the out for Cody to lose without losing. He wouldn't have to take a pinfall or tap out. It could just be a genuine, slip up mistake. Drew put one over on him finally for once, and Drew wins the title, but he doesn't really win it in a legitimate way. It all would have worked so well, and they just go back to as Al said last week, Drew Del Rio.
Ramon, right? Yeah, Del Rio. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's,
he's the Razor Ramon. He's the Alberto Del Rio. He's the whatever comparisons we want to make to
Right.
guy who's there, but he's never going to be all the way up there.
It's a shame. But the match was fantastic. Jade versus Tiffany Stratton. I was surprised. It gave me John Cena, Brock Lesnar feels in a lot of ways, like just like it was just domination of Jade. Which I get it, because now you want to make her this monster heel. I do think that was the right move to make her a heel for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The story makes sense, right? You made me taste my own blood. It woke something up in me. Like that's a believable, like, you know, kind of thing. Her dominance over somebody who's lost once in an entire calendar year. You know, and
Yep.
she is getting better and better. And I think as a heel, she's gonna be even better. That match was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was great, but I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was one of Jade's best performances, and I'm sure a lot of that has to do with Tiffany, especially with the sell of the leg throughout the whole match and everything else. But I thought it was a great match, and I'm excited to see the Jade era as a heel and as a champion.
The fact they made her into this Goldberg-esque character and just had her go in there and whoop her ass, it was the best part about it, right? Because we know she has flaws. We know she's tight around the edges and rough around the edges. So why not just make her this character that comes in here, abominates things, and is just going to be dominant in a title run? I love what they did with her. I might say this is my favorite match of her, of all her matches I've seen in WWE,
Oh yeah,
because
I
of the
agree.
character change.
And it's going to be a great way to set up Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania. You're
Yeah.
going to have plenty of time now to build that, depending on when Bianca's returning. I mean, at this point, I don't know if you wait till the Rumble at this point and make a big return. I don't know what the
I don't know
deal
what her
is.
timeline is because I know that I mean her finger still it was pretty messed up as of a couple
Yeah.
months ago still. So, but also this was watching Jade the 2 or 3 years she was in AEW. Any AEW fan would have told you she's way better as a heel.
Yep.
She doesn't have to like sell as much. She doesn't usually heels move or baby faces move at a faster pace than heels. She can really slow it down, work the pace she wants. And the other thing was, as somebody who watched a lot of her career before WWE, the longer the match gets, the worse it's going to be. She, that, as you said, Al, the Goldberg thing, I mean, she had a Goldberg like streak in AEW. She didn't lose until like the very last match.
I used to watch back in the day a little more, so yeah, I remember that.
And
When she
that
was
was,
the TBS champion, right? She became TBS champ, had it for a while.
yeah, and none of those matches were more than 5 minutes long.
Not one.
And they
And you
didn't
did-
have to be.
No,
With
exactly.
commercials.
Right. Yeah, they got to put a commercial break in the middle. And I think this is where the Goldberg comparison is perfect. She just needs to do that. She comes in, she's a heel Goldberg. She runs people over, beats them in 3 to 5 minutes. And then it takes somebody who has the fortitude to overcome this big obstacle. And Bianca's the perfect person to do that.
Right. And there's story there.
Right, there's
history
already-
there.
Well, it's so, it's unfortunate that Jade got this big old scar on her face for the rest of her life, but that helped
Kinda
this whole
badass looking.
storyline. It helped everything. It helped her look. It helped the heel turn against Tiffany, and it still is like, you've got the history with Bianca. There's that injury, that cut, like with Don Callis getting that big cut, Jade getting that cut over her eye may be a game changer for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, it was like when Becky Lynch busted her nose.
Oh,
and
yes.
became the man overnight. Like that was the start of the era for the man. So
That's definitely the turning point for her. I mean, if honestly, when that shit cures, I'll make that shit a lightning bolt and
Yeah.
just make that shit go down her face, and make that be her thing.
Yeah.
All her little fans will paint a lightning bolt over her eyebrow, and she could patent that shit and make money.
that's a true story. Jassim over at YouTube. I like Jey Uso, one of my favorite wrestlers. If he's going to take the business seriously, he needs to stop having fun, and he needs to take the business serious if he wants to win. He keeps partying too much with the fans. So that reads to me like Jassim is down for a heel turn for Jay. I just think from a business standpoint,
Smart
it makes
man.
no sense. It makes no sense.
It doesn't even have to be a heel turn. It just needs to be something. He just needs to take a couple of the dials and the sliders and all that stuff and just make a little.
You
couple
could
of-
stop coming in through the crowd.
Yeah, and they could even do something where he's coming through the crowd, somebody jumps him, like 1 or 2 weeks in a row, and then he's like, that's it. I'm not coming through the crowd anymore because I keep getting jumped. And then he can just do his regular entrance. Because people are saying online this is not a 1-to-1 direct comparison. But they're like, this is like when the Ultimate Warrior would have to run to the ring and shake the ropes, and then he was tired before the match started.
Yeah.
Like there's just too much. There's too much going on in the entrance that he.
But you know, from a business standpoint, I mean, you have parents now that are buying seats, trying to figure out where he's going to come out of so that their kid can eat with him on TV. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's gotten to.
I'm so shocked that they don't have special Yeet seats on Ticketmaster that cost
when
extra.
Those seats go up, you just put that fucking juju out there. That's gonna be your fault.
Come on, Yeet seats are coming. It's gonna be the seats on each of the aisles. The Yeet seats, and it's this aisle and it's this aisle. So when he walks down the stairs, you can be on either side of him, and they're gonna cost extra. And maybe they'll come with some sunglasses or something. But
and I have a disclaimer: if you want me to hold an infant, an extra like $150 or something.
The holding my baby charge, yeah.
That's
Oh my God, that is so hilarious. If that was truly to happen, that should be so funny. But
You know
and people
what?
will
This
still
shit
buy
with
the
TK
package.
Yeah, they
They
will.
call it
but-
the Yeet package.
Yeah, the Yeet package. Fucking TKO. They'll
They
do
call it the
anything for an
Yeet
extra $1.
package. You get a Yeet shirt and some sunglasses.
Yeah, you get your whole family on the aisle, so when Jay comes down to Yeet, you're right there doing the whole thing with him, yeah.
You're gonna be sitting in an aisle 100 for $3,000.
That's a way. See, that's it. That's a way to monetize the cheap seats and make them more expensive.
They'll put like some ropes around there, like a red rope, make you feel special, and that's all you're doing is paying for over expensive popcorn
In the 100 section.
in the 100 section for $3.
That's fucking crazy. You imagine? It's just insane what they're charging, bro. I can't get enough. Dominic Mysterio, Penta Rusev could be match of the night for me. I thought that match was great. I loved everything about it, and I loved how Dom.
That is definitely the match of the night.
Yep, and I love that Dom got over. He is your next turn. If there's anyone that's turning, they have no choice. Dom's got to go face.
You
The
can't
crowd is
have
all
him.
behind him.
You can't have him go face yet. You need.
Yes, you
him.
can, because he can still lie, cheat, and steal, just like Eddie. Don't speak like that about my dad. That was the greatest line last night on Raw, by the way. Not happy that they're resurfacing this whole Ray versus Dominic thing. I was like, wow, really? Are we really doing this again? But when he was like, you're no Eddie Guerrero, don't talk about my dad that way, I fucking lost it.
Yeah,
that was
like
amazing.
The pay-per-view, the event they're wrestling at supposedly is in San Diego, the 619.
But why are we rehashing this again?
Why? So here's what people are saying online, and this is not from anybody. It's
they
just
want to
fans.
keep Dominic heel, and they know that people won't boo Ray. Is that what we're doing?
That's kind of it. But also, people might be thinking, if you're going to turn Dominic wins that match, or whatever happens in that match happens, and the Judgment Day come out and start beating up Rey Mysterio, and then he's like, stop beating up my dad, and then he turns babyface on the Judgment Day, and you end that show with babyface Rey and Dom.
Right. That's where I thought. Yeah, I thought you were going that way. That's exactly the way I'm thinking. I'm thinking you use his father as like that's what most people are thinking right now, right? Steve is like, oh my God, we're gonna get this. He beat us. He gets over on his dad again. Wow, we saw this already, but we're not gonna get that. We're gonna get him becoming a face through his father.
He doesn't need his father. He's already there. The crowd's already cheering him. Like I just.
But it's
and then what's going to
storytelling.
happen? So now, Daddy,
Full circle.
They come full circle. They embrace their family again, right? Just don't keep them together then. That's my ask. Let Dom be Dom. Let Liv come back.
Dom is going to be Dom.
Let Dom and Liv be together as a face couple now, and do the same thing that they did with Dom and Rhea.
I think, don't take my word for it, but everything that I saw from that promo seems to be setting up some sort of retirement angle for Ray. This seems like a last ride kind of thing. I feel like he's going to put his career on the line, or his mask versus hair or something.
That's interesting.
That's
I
very
didn't think
interesting.
of that.
because he's saying all this stuff. He's like, "You're not ready. You're not the best luchador. You're not the best Mysterio." Blah blah blah. Like this almost sounds like, "Prove me wrong, son. Take up the mantle.
Oh, right.
I'm passing the torch."
And he did say something like, "You're not the best luchador while I'm still here." or
Yes,
something like
exactly. When that was the line,
So-
while I'm still
right.
around. Yeah.
While I'm still around, correct? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, you're right. I think that might be it.
This could be a way to get Ray out of full-time action and turn Dominic babyface, and maybe give the Judgment Day something to do now that they've lost the tag team title rematch again.
My God, George, I think you've got it.
And see, for me, Al, I think you were probably on the show at this time. Were you on the show when Dominic first came out against like Seth at that pay-per-view during the pandemic? Like when he
Yes.
first debuted? Okay.
No.
All right. I
not
wasn't
during the
sure.
pandemic.
So when he first came out, one of my suggestions was he looks like Eddie Guerrero. We all saw that from the beginning. Turn him heel and have him say, Eddie Guerrero's my real father, and have him be Dominic Guerrero.
Right. Oh,
To
I
get
remember
heat.
that. I do
Yeah.
remember that conversation. So damn, I was here. That's crazy.
You must have been. Well, because it wasn't during the pandemic. It was after when they started first turning him heel, like when they did the prison dom thing when he got arrested for
Yeah.
at that
I was
Thanksgiving
definitely
thing.
here because
You were here for that. That was around the
gear on.
right,
was
and that
on.
was around the time where he had like grown the mullet and the little dirt stash, and I was like, all right, this is perfect. He could be like, I'm not a Mysterio anymore. Eddie won that ladder match. He has custody of me or whatever. That was my real dad. I don't know. Like, there was something there for him to be Dominic Guerrero for a while, and then maybe the big turn for babyface is him going back to Mysterio. But we're past that.
You know what though? They didn't go that route, but they made him. I shouldn't say they made him. I don't know how much influence they had, but he is looking more and more like Eddie every fucking day.
I mean,
Every
he's
day.
basically doing it because he's doing every so often he'll wear like the Latino Heat flame pants, or like he'll come
And
out
he's
in a
lying,
low rider.
He's
Yep.
cheating. He's
doing all of
stealing,
it.
and the crowd is loving him.
He's
like
got
they
the
love Eddie.
mamacitas.
I love
That's
when he
it.
told his dad. He told his dad, "Oh, I see you copied my mustache." It was great.
Dominic has really come so far, man. Like
We-
really come into his own. The
He
whole
has.
Dirty Dom thing has just been great. The whole prison Dom was great with the teardrop and everything about it. I mean, it's really he's great in the ring. I mean, he is.
Do you remember when he first debuted and we're like, they're setting this kid up to die out there. He's
Yep.
main eventing a pay-per-view against Seth Rollins. This is his first fucking wrestling match. And he was just this white meat. It was like Rocky Maivia kind of babyface
Mhm.
with his dad. It was just, he was so bland. He was just like, I wear my dad's
The
clothes.
best-
And
but you
all
know
this
what?
other
We
stuff.
said it right away. The best thing that they did was turn him heel and
Yeah.
during the Judgment Day.
Had
They
to.
needed
You guys can
him
hear
to
me?
get away from his dad
Now
and
we can.
become his own person. And,
Perfect.
Al,
and he was able to do it.
Al, you might have been cutting out because you just said if we can hear you, we can hear you now.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Good.
What were you going to say?
I don't know where you guys are at. Where are you talking about now?
Dom. Still with the heel,
Well- What part? Where did we live off? I'm sorry. Last I heard was something.
how they pretty much we thought they were hanging him out to dry, being this bland babyface kid main eventing against Seth Rollins, and it was his first ever wrestling match, and like he was just such a bland babyface that the best decision was turning him heel.
And
Oh
separating
yeah,
from
100%.
his
It
dad.
had to
and-
be.
Yeah.
It had to be the decision, right? Because of the blandness, right? It was just like, oh, this is. So he wasn't Dominic Mysterio back then. He was Ray's kid,
Right.
and by becoming a heel, he could become Dominic Mysterio. And when I remember when he when he kicked his dad in the thing, I'm like, oh, this is great. Hopefully now we get to see whether he can make it or not as an actual superstar. And boy, I guess was creative right because that was such the right move.
And
His
and
kid
props
is-
to him because he improved. You can give somebody a good storyline or a good character, but you have to, become a good
You have to
performer.
execute.
Right. You have to execute the story performance stuff, the acting, and you have to execute the wrestling. And he's been able to do he's improved so much in both.
And the great thing about it is like he's young, right? So this character of his isn't even fully evolved
Right.
because every year you see a layer of Dirty Dom, being added to what he's become already,
And
which
he's
is the
so
cool
young.
part of it.
And he's so young. I mean, there's so
Right.
much time for them
How
to do
how, how
so
old
many
is he? Do
different
we
things.
know? Do we know how young he is?
I mean, I don't even. Is he even 30?
No, I don't. He doesn't look dirty at
I
all.
think he's his upper 20s.
He was born April 5th, 1997. He's 28 years old.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's another guy that's ready. Fuck it. Put the world title on him. Give him a money in the bank. Have him cash in. He can win a world title.
That's the way he
That's the
has
way
to
he
win it.
wins it. Yeah,
He
for
has
sure.
to win it with because he's Dirty Dom. So he's gonna
Yeah.
get his Seth Rollins moment, and it better be at a WrestleMania for the place to fucking tear the
Oh,
roof
yeah.
off. Like that'll be great.
I do like this idea from Ryan, mask versus mustache instead of mask versus hair.
I mean, that would be funny.
Just the tiniest little Mach 3 razor shaving his mustache.
That would be funny.
That will be great.
All right, so listen, I want to shift gears.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this tournament that they
Yeah.
announced where the winner will be John Cena's final opponent. How are we feeling about the decision being made that it's going to be based on a tournament? I will say when John Cena goes in to explain it and how he wants somebody to he wants his final match to be against somebody like how he started his. So that's kind of a full circle thing. So how are we feeling about the tournament and the announcement that it is a combination of Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and people that may not be with the company, which I could only assume is TNA stars, like Joe Hendry, for example.
Go ahead, Vince.
Are we getting Chris Jericho in this
That's
tournament?
what that's why I let
mean-
you go first.
Chris Jericho's been dropping a lot of hints lately.
And listen, he absolutely was a very important part of AEW. If he moves on from AEW at this point after 5 or 6 years and goes into the Wrestle John Cena for the last time tournament, I'm not mad about it. Like I wish wrestling was in a place where Edge and Chris Jericho, regardless of who they worked for, could just get their last matches with John Cena as a sign of respect to John, Edge, and Jericho of all their careers. And just Triple H going, you know what? I might not like Tony Khan. These guys are competition, but Jericho and Edge are two of the biggest opponents in John Cena's career. He deserves one last match with each of them. That should have happened.
I just want to see Jericho be the guy and grab the mic and look at John Cena and say, John,
You just made the list.
and bring back the list. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. I mean, listen, I'd be happy with Edge too, but I am hearing a lot of Joe Henry talk.
As the last opponent for John Cena.
No, for the tournament.
Okay.
No,
Thank fuck.
to be the
winner?
to be the one that faces John Cena. Even before, let me go back. Even before they announced the tournament, when people were speculating who his final opponent would be, Joe Hendry's name has been coming up a lot lately. I could kind of see it, not from the company, but he kind of is WWE. He's going to be signed with WWE. The year that he had would be like, who the hell are you? Ruthless aggression, like the kind of the way that John Cena came in. Like, it kind of does make sense. So I could see it. Let me be clear, I don't think it is going to be Joe Henry. What I am saying is I've been hearing a lot of people throwing his name around.
If we go the route of doing what John Cena's talked about getting a chance, right, or getting an opportunity, and we assume it'll be somebody young, and we go the route of not someone in the WWE, I'd rather take Obafemi. And from story angle, I don't know if he becomes a heel or he is a heel or been a heel, but
He's been
I've ran
heel and
into a
face.
couple of matches of him in NXT, and I think the guy's pretty goddamn good.
Oh, he's awesome.
So I
Yeah.
I
think
mean, listen,
Obafemi, storyline wise, heat wise, if he goes over on Cena and then he comes either on Raw or SmackDown the next day and just starts, tearing shit up, I think it will be pretty cool.
that all goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning of the show. There is a stack of NXT guys that are ready, like an Obafemi, like a Trick Williams, like an Ethan Page, like a Ricky Stark, I can keep going. Like, they are ready. So it's just a matter of time before they start to trickle in. Obafemi, I could see getting a shot, but I just feel like a Jericho just would be so much better, you know? But I think, I don't know.
It depends on the follow-up. If they picked somebody, like Al said, Obafemi, he wins, and then they make him a big deal on the main roster, that would be big for whoever that person is that beats John Cena.
100%. But I will say this, Obafemi, I personally think if we're speaking about Obafemi, I think he's that kind of guy, with or without John Cena, he is going to be a very big deal on the main roster.
Right.
So do you give it to somebody that you feel like may need the rub from John Cena? And then if that's the case, who?
Well,
Right. Austin
My-
Theory.
God,
I-
I hope not.
I-
Vince
I-
McMahon isn't back.
remember they had a picture and they showed a couple of athletes, superstars there, and one of them that they showed was Gunther. So I still stick to my original plan that I
You have
believe
been saying
Gunther's
Gunther.
going to beat him. Gunther's going to be the guy because right now you bring Gunther back. Who else could go over Gunther? I don't think they're going to make
Right.
a WWE guy that just came back lose to a guy from another company, unless it is a Jericho or an Edge, which is very unlikely. But outside, and even I could see shit. I mean, I don't know. That would be crazy if you actually see Gunther go over on Jericho and then go over on Cena. Holy shit! Like, what? Think about the. I can't even think about it. Like, that might be the story. The story might not even be Jericho versus Cena. It might be fucking Gunther going over both people because he's gonna have to go over somebody very high that we're on to be able to face Cena.
Just remember this too. They might also be saving Gunther for the match that we've all been talking about wanting to see for a very long time.
Him, Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
gonna
he's in
And
this
I
tournament.
got to be honest with you. If you were to ask me, would I rather see Gunther Brock or Gunther take out Cena on his final match? I would rather see Gunther Brock.
I agree with you, but the thing is that they showed him in the skit of wrestlers to wrestle Cena, unless those wrestlers aren't in the tournament. You didn't see like a skit when they were doing this promo. They showed like certain wrestlers, and Gunther was one of them. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw
Oh, okay.
that.
So that's
I
what I'm
did see
saying.
that.
My question is: are those wrestlers in the tournament, or we
They're
don't have
not
that list
saying.
yet?
They're not saying. So
Okay.
those might be Easter eggs, as they say.
Oh, okay. So that's why I assumed Gunther was in it.
Just
He
seeing
probably
over
is.
at YouTube. John Cena ain't Gunther. Please no, because they don't have no chemistry. They don't have no legendary storyline. Doesn't work, and I don't want to see John Cena lose to Gunther, just like Gunther did to Goldberg. I don't want to see a repeat of that. Okay, so let's break that down for a minute. You cannot sit there and say that there is no chemistry between John Cena and Gunther because we have never had them in the ring together in a situation to weigh whether or not there is any chemistry. We haven't seen them touch. I don't know that we've ever seen.
Wow.
I don't recall ever seeing John Cena Gunther. Does anyone else? I could be wrong.
No.
But the rise of Gunther, John Cena was not full time. I think. So
I
I'm
think
gonna
you're
stick
right.
to that.
I'm just Googling just to make sure, but I think you're absolutely right. I
I
just
don't
thought
think
maybe
Cena
like
wanted to get slapped like that.
So
honestly,
you can't sit there and say that there's no chemistry because we don't know. You've never had them go in the ring and see how the crowd's going to react. So I want to start there. There's no legendary storyline. The storyline is that Gunther, just like he beat Goldberg, beat Cena on his final match, which just launches Gunther to Hall of Fame status overnight because he wound up beating the greatest of all time on his final night. That's the story. Do I think it's going to be Gunther? I don't know.
So if not Gunther, who do you think is going to be? Now, who do you want? Who do you think?
Well, so far, on Raw, they picked out the first 2 matches. And I guess Aldis is going to do the next. They're using the Royal Rumble toggler thing, and they're picking out balls with names in them. So I know Shinsuke was a name that got pulled out. What were the other ones? Do we know?
Okay, so they're obviously not important enough for you to pick them as who do you think? Because ain't no way you're gonna remember the guy and be like, "Oh, he might win," and be like, "I don't know now."
I just know. Put money on this. Javon Evans loses in the first round of this tournament.
100%.
I mean, I do think. Well, I don't know what to think. I don't know. I kind of. I don't know that they should have announced any of the names. Like, even as they're picking. Like, you know how, like, you got your number in the Royal Rumble, but you didn't announce it to anyone? Or maybe you shared it with one person?
So people just come out
Like-
randomly to match the fight.
Yeah, like, let it just be a surprise. But it is a mix of Raw and SmackDown and NXT. So it's not like one GM is picking solely from their roster. It's all of them. Dave Abbey, Sheamus, and Rusev. Right, so Shinsuke, Sheamus, Rusev, and then who was the last one? Because, so Sheamus versus Rusev is going to be one match, Shinsuke and someone else, and I don't know. But, like, I'm not okay with any of those names.
I wouldn't be mad at Sheamus and Cena have history. Rusev and Cena have history. I think with the way that both of them, all of them have improved so much since the last time they feuded, that could be a good match this time. And historically, they haven't been. So there's potential there. They wouldn't be my top picks, but like if it was Cena against Rusev and that was the last match, I kind of wouldn't be mad at it.
I will say, since this move to Netflix, I pay the highest tier possible, and I still get commercials, and I don't get to see any of those interviews. I wind up finding all the interviews on TikTok.
Well, how does that work? You pay the highest tier and you still get commercials?
Fuck if I know, dude. It pisses me off. I miss entrances. I don't get any of those interviews. I get
Bro,
none
you're
of that
getting
shit.
fucked.
Oh, that's
I
why
am
I'm
getting
I've been
royally
getting
fucked
that
in the
too.
ass.
I don't know why.
Yep, it sucks. So I find them on
fucked.
TikTok. I'm so fucked. So I get them on TikTok. And I happen to notice that Rusev cut a promo. Look up the promo. Probably one of the best promos Rusev ever cut. And might I also say, hinted, just a little hint, of Rusev Day in there. So we could be getting the tease of the return of Rusev Day, which I could get behind that. Priest was the other name. So I guess it's possibly Shinsuke versus Damian and Sheamus versus Rusev, or I don't know what the teams are going to be.
Yeah.
Jassim, I think John Cena should go up against Javon Evans because Javon have talent and you can move him up to the main roster. That's a perfect match in my eyes. So here's what I will say. He's already been given an open invite to go to SmackDown, I believe. I think it was Aldis. Said that he's got a spot anytime he's ready. So I think he'll get the spot on the main roster sooner than later regardless. Although I wouldn't be mad at a Javon Evans, John Cena. Put over a young kid. I'd be okay with that.
100%.
Fuck that. Bring back The Undertaker.
Wait, dude, I was there for that one. That was wild. John Cena was like in the crowd watching Asuka and Charlotte and then like ran backstage because he heard he had a match.
Oh, that was so funny. It was so stupid. He sat in the crowd for the first like 4 matches.
Could you imagine he's standing there in the middle of the ring? It's a surprise. You don't know who's wrestling. All of a sudden you heard the bells. Doom. And everything goes dark. That place will go ape shit. If that were
would
to
be
happen.
awesome.
You will be like, fuck Evans. Give me Taker.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a full. It would be like a choke slam and a tombstone, and Cena would
15-second
lose.
match. That's
Yeah.
all it'll be. And then like a 5-minute standing ovation, and that's the match. And then
Be
Steve
sure-
goes back. Steve goes back to commercials and misses like the backstage.
Right. And the interview is just listen to my podcast with me and Michelle McCool.
Yeah.
The last thing I'd want to do. Oh, I know. Listen, we don't get a million listeners or anything, but holy shit, if you listen to the Undertaker and Michelle McCool on their podcast, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What do they talk about?
Well, who cares? Nothing. They talk about nothing. He had another guy. See, the controversy, I guess, is that he had like a producer and like a co-host, and they're like, the co-host, they were like, fuck it, we got rid of him. It's just going to be the Undertaker and his wife. Sounds like fun.
You know, I'm starting to agree with some of the things Jasim is talking about. LFG Jasper Troy, John Cena would be amazing. Jasper Troy's another one to keep an eye on. He won this year's LFG. The guy is a monster, but he's still he's not ready for John Cena, in my opinion. He needs a little time in NXT to develop himself before he has a match with somebody like John Cena, especially in a spot where it's John Cena's final match. But he is one to watch. I was a big fan of that guy.
But you know, I like this idea of like, especially if they tied it into the way that Cena debuted, and he kind of cut that, like you were saying, the ruthless aggression speech on Angle. If they had somebody come out and basically do that speech back to him, money, especially if they fucking beat him. But that's not gonna. It's, you know, we're sitting here talking all this stuff, and it's just gonna be like,
well, it's
don't know.
weird too because they're in Boston next week. So you got to figure they're going to do something huge for John Cena in his final night on Raw in Boston. I don't know what that'll be, but there's got to be something huge planned. And then his final match is in Washington, D.C., which makes no fucking sense to me. I don't know why you wouldn't have Boston be the final appearance. It just writes itself, right? Like
it's
just
all
makes no
about
sense.
the money.
So, or the fact that President Trump is going to attend. Watch, I have a
Is
feeling...
Do you think that's legit? I've heard the Tyrus said it, so I think it's shit. But
I've heard rumors that Trump is talking about going. I mean,
that's
listen,
wild.
There's a lot of ties to the administration and WWE. You know, Linda McMahon and Triple H has been in the Oval Office many times already and talks about Trump. I mean, listen, on one hand, whether you like President Trump, you don't like President Trump, I'm not looking to get into a political thing. This is not a political show. What I will say, though, if you take the name of the human being away from the title president, this will be the first time an active president of the United States attends a WWE show, which is kind of a big deal. So it'll be interesting to see if it does happen.
Did you know that Jimmy Carter was a big wrestling fan, and the only person who was ever allowed at the White House completely masked was one of the masked superstars? You know, the guy that wrestled, it was like an all-white mask with like some red stitching around it. He was such a big fan of the masked superstar that the Secret Service allowed him to meet the president while still wearing his mask to maintain kayfabe, whereas everybody else would have been stopped and had their shit confiscated. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But
I think, yeah, regardless of what the office of the president, if somebody comes like that to a wrestling show, that is a big deal, of course.
Yeah. I also do agree. Not that, again, I want to get into anything politics, but Dave Abbey, he should be worried about opening the fucking country, which, I mean, I can't argue that. But yeah, let's not get into politics. But
I wonder. So next year for the was it the 250th celebration for the United States? They're having that big UFC event on the White House lawn or whatever it is.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah,
I heard about it, but I didn't know.
That's a real thing that's still being planned. How, since it's TKO, UFC is also a TKO company. is there a possibility that we get a couple WWE matches on the White House lawn the same weekend?
I mean, it's
It's
very
the best.
possible.
This is the best
Anything is
NXT
possible.
takeover. It's the best
But-
NXT takeover. NXT White House.
I mean, listen, anything's possible. I will just say that I think there's a lot of things that need to be handled before anybody in that White House is going to wrestling or UFC or hosting anything.
Oh yeah. We've got a budget to pass and people to get back to work and all that stuff first. There's a lot of important work to be done.
Yeah, just see him over at YouTube. I still think Boston should have had some say in John Cena's last match, not Washington. That stinks because I was looking forward to going to Boston. Listen, still go to Boston, Jasim. There is no way that they're not going to do something huge for John Cena in Boston. So if you have an opportunity to go to that show, go to that show. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I do agree in the sense that I do still think that the final appearance should have been in Boston.
Oh,
It
for
just
sure.
makes the most sense. But, listen, it's not our world. We just live in it. So
With all the celebrity involvement with WWE recently, would it be possible that we get some Boston sports legends like a Kevin Garnett or
Mark
like somebody
Wahlberg.
from the Bruins? Yeah. Oh, Mark Wahlberg, say hi
He'll
to your
be
mother
there.
for me. Oh,
I'm sure. There's going to be his whole family's going to be there. I'm sure
Yeah.
his father will be there. They're going to do something like, I don't know. I was listening to Busted Open earlier, and Bully was saying they should have The Rock show up and they should do.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah,
This is your
Like,
life, John Cena.
yeah.
Oh,
but I feel like there's something big has got to be planned.
yeah. Maybe, because the last match is in DC, it will be like the Boston show will be like honoring John Cena. Maybe they'll put like a banner in the rafters at the TD Garden or something. Maybe they'll have like a ceremony or something a little more formal because the last match is going to be, all the focus will be on the match in DC.
I just have this vision of them going through this entire tournament, and like the very final match of the tournament, Brock just shows up and beats the shit out of all of them and says nobody's
Right.
fighting John Cena but me, and then they wind up doing another Brock match.
I wouldn't
What?
be mad at that.
I wouldn't either, but
But Cena has to win.
that's not happening because Brock
Has
is going to
to.
be a part of War Games.
Has to win. The
John
only way
Cena, what,
Cena
has to
doesn't
win his
win
final
is
match?
the only way I think Cena doesn't win is if Brock Lesnar is making a UFC comeback. Besides that, he's taking that L.
I think John Cena's gonna lay down. I do.
Unless it's somebody like a Brock or a Jericho or an Orton or something like that. If he's wrestling somebody from his past, he's going to win. If he's putting over a new talent, he's putting over a new talent.
Right.
True.
Also, Jasim mentioned this title belt in his comments. There is a special edition John Cena, The Last Time Is Now, Farewell Tour 2025 Spinner Championship in Boston Celtic green and white. $599 plus $8.95 shipping. You can't even give me free shipping on a $599.99
How crazy
belt.
is that?
Nope.
That's TKO,
Fuck.
baby.
You got to pay for
Holy
it.
Shit. $600. Listen, I've spent more on worse, but goddamn.
Dave Abbey, I know this could never happen, but I would have loved for it to have been Rhea. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't happen, I guess, these days, but I would have been okay with that. But does
Rhea as
John
the last
Cena
opponent
lose?
for John Cena again? What?
Nah.
How?
I mean,
what?
nobody would ever see that coming.
It's a true swerve. That's be like if Karma came back. Shit, that's a deep one.
Karma. All right, so we've got a few minutes left. We're getting to the top of the hour. I do want to address Logan Paul seemingly joining the Vision. Is he replacing Seth Rollins?
I was wondering the same thing. And I will just go back to the top of the show's comment here from Jasim from 902. I'm still wondering what's up with Logan Paul. Is he joining the Vision? Also, Logan sucks. Just the best. I love that. There's just a genuine question or comment he wants to make. Also, Logan sucks. Beautiful.
I like. For a minute, you kind of sat there and you said, "Oh my God, are they turning Logan?" And then I was glad that they didn't, because I think he's just going to be a much better dick.
Yeah.
I could kind of see him with Heyman and the Vision. So
I don't disagree.
we'll see how this plays out, but I'm assuming we're going to get an explanation. Heyman's very good at poker and a poker face. So he did look surprised and shocked, but he also looked that way after Breaker speared the shit out of Rollins and was in on it the whole time. So you never know. So we're going to have to wait until next week to find out. But that was an interesting twist. If Logan Paul is going to join the Vision. And everything I've been hearing is that Logan Paul has stopped doing everything else, that he is 100% planning to be WWE all the way. So you got to give him credit. He's doing the thing. I respect the shit out of him for what he's been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. He's still a douchebag, but that's okay in the wrestling business.
But is he, Al did mention, and I kind of agree, that the CM Punk thing has to be kind of a short reign. Not that Logan Paul's going to win it at this pay-per-view, but
CM Punk is holding that belt, I think, going into Mania.
Jesus
I think maybe he loses at Mania.
Oh my God.
I do. I could be wrong.
He's going to have three threads of hair hanging on by WrestleMania. Christ on a bike.
He'd be 98 years old by then.
That's right. I know, man. It's gonna be him and his hover around scooter. Look in my eyes. Terrible.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Before you go, can I say something? I know Cody's going heel by WrestleMania.
What? You mentioned there's 3 minutes left in the show?
It's all in the fucking commercial, and they're putting it in our face like 4 or 5 months ahead of time, bro. I'm telling you, look at that commercial, the WrestleMania commercial for Vegas. Look at everybody in that table. It's the wise man and all of his disciples, and the only one that hasn't been one yet is Cody fucking Rhodes. They're fucking putting it in your face and telling you he's turning heel.
It's an interesting theory, and we will definitely dive more into that next week, live on the War Report After Dark.
Yes, sir.
Dun, dun, dun.
What's funny is when you said, "Can I say something?" I thought Al was just going to say,
"Fuck Goldberg."
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was waiting for it.
But fuck Goldberg.
Thank you. We can actually end the show once he says that. But thank you guys for tuning in. It is the War Report After Dark. We do this every Tuesday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We've already done the clocks going back thing this weekend. So if you found us, you're here. You're live. Next week, 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. Come back to the page you're on right now, whether it's our Facebook page or our YouTube page. You can come right back here, and we'll be back next week. Facebook, you go type Tag Me a Date in your search bar. You hit the thumbs up to like the Tag Me a Date page, and the live stream will show up in your news feed on Tuesday nights. If you go to YouTube, type Tag Me a Date in the search bar. You'll go to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, and then hit the notification bell. When we go live, you'll get a notification on your tablet or your phone that we have gone live, and you can just tap on it, and you'll go right to the stream. If you prefer an audio version instead of the video version of the podcast, just go to your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play Podcast, or Apple Podcast. Type in the War Report and Tag Me a Date. You'll see the podcast pop up. The icon in the description will mention Tag Me a Date, the War Report, all that. It'll say our names in it. You'll know it's us. Hit subscribe. The audio gets ripped from the stream and uploaded by Ryan to the podcast apps. And last but not least, follow us at Tag Me a Date on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter /X, Instagram, all at Tag Me a Date. And the last thing you need to know is if you're on TikTok, it is the War Report Podcast on TikTok. The War Report Podcast, all one word. We post shorts and reels in between every day to kind of show you what we were talking about last week leading up to next Tuesday's show. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for your comments. Tara, Donna, David, Dave, Ryan, Jasim, Everybody else that commented tonight, thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the War Report After Dark.